Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Wanted to get a little bit more into TradeZella backtesting. Like I said in the last video, I had actually been recording for a while, talking to myself. Didn't realize that I wasn't recording audio. So, uh, backtesting, the importance of it, right? I don't think it can be understated, honestly. You see that I've got my backtesting here for MNQ. I've started into an MES back trading. That's what the previous video was. We'll get into that a little bit more. But I wanted to show you why TradeZella is so much better at backtesting. Just because it's got all of the stats captured for you as if it were a normal TradeZella account. You can see what you've been doing. So I'm going to go into my dashboard here on the MNQ. I'll remove my backtesting for MES and give you an idea what this looks like and the stats in here. So you can see I'm in June. I've got 59 trades in there, 8K, 95 trades for 3K, 35 trades. I'm a hyper scalper, so really my A+ setup probably comes through anywhere from 3 to 10 different A setups during a normal New York trading session. I don't trade the London or Asian sessions very often. That's just me. Some of it's more just focus. So for me, that's where I'm at. But looking through here, you can see it tracks your profit factor. It tracks your daily win percentage, your average win loss. Great stats to just have, right? Just on the outset. Now you can come in to the trading journal as well and journal all of the emotions you are feeling. You really should be treating this as if it's the live market. I'm not journaling on these back testing, admittedly, but you very much could. I do like to journal on my live trades and try to make sure that I'm calling out a playbook in there that you see those over here, that I'm using the trade journaling to reference my emotions. The biggest thing for me, psychology is a huge part of trading, and if you don't think so, I'm sorry, but you're probably just not going to make it. That to me is the reason that the 95% of traders fail. It's the psychological aspect. They lose confidence. They're driven by emotions. And I'm going to call out the two main emotions to come into play for every trader. It's fear and greed. And it can be fear of missing out. It can be fear of loss. It can be fear in a lot of different aspects. Greed similarly can be in different aspects, but it's fear and greed. That's all that drives us. And it's yeah, we just have to keep it in check. So by recognizing the emotion that you're feeling, it removes a lot of the power. If you can detect when you're feeling greedy and just say, you know what, this greed is dangerous and I'm up $100 on this trade, I'll just take it and close the trade and walk away. As soon as you start feeling those emotions, that's really not when you want to be in the market. You need to be cognizant of that. So you can see through here, I've got all of these. I had a red day here. Looks like on September 11th, 2024. My goal again was to go back through an entire year. So I think I started in July. Red day there, but largely very green days, right? As I go through here. Now let me take you over to reports. You can see a whole bunch of stats in here. I feel like shameless plug for TradeZella that's not even paying me for this, but this kind of data capturing for you and you not having to go and note all your trades and you can just focus on your emotions and add those to your journal. Now you should still be journaling, but I've seen a lot of people using Excel spreadsheets. They've got to go in and look up their price that they entered, price they exited, what their target price was. This does all of that for you. Technically not target price, right? It doesn't know what you are targeting unless you put that in. So bad example there, but you get the point. So my lowest month here was $2,800. My best month was $12,000. I'm averaging 6,500. And that's really in what? I think I told you I started in June. I'm through some of September. So not really a ton of months in there. But you've got my total PNL, you've got the average daily volume, average winning trade versus average losing trade. I do not focus, again, I don't focus on the 2-to-1 ratio. I'm okay with even a 1-to-1 ratio. As long as my exit conditions are met, I'll take a 1-to-1. I may get a little greedy and try for a 2-to-1. But I'm still not confident enough in my system to say I should always take a 2-to-1. TradeZella will help me get there to where I can look and say, okay, I'm winning 80% of my trades. It's something like that, as you can tell from my P&L here. 70 to 80% of my trades. But how often am I hitting a 2-to-1? I don't really know that. And I'm more focused on trying to take base hits, not focused on winning $1,000 trade. Most of the accounts that I'm trading are prop firm accounts. They're 50Ks. You shouldn't be doing more than like a $400 trade, right? That's almost a full 1% in a day on a single account. Now, by all stretches of the imagination, you're not going to have there's not 365 trading days in a year, but let's say there's 220. Who here has heard of a 220% increase from a trader that's legit? Like you once you start to focus on the money, you tend to lose sight of the percentages. And I'm speaking from experience here because I'm in this state currently. I'm trying to stop focusing on the money and focusing more on percentage gain. Just because when you think of $400, you're like, yeah, but that doesn't really move the needle, right? Well, sure, $400 in a single day might not move the needle, but if you can stack those wins up, now all of a sudden you only need $200 a day, 5 days a week, starts to look pretty good, right? Now you're at $1,000 in a week. But I think we focus a little bit too much on the short term, especially in a scalping strategy. You're trying to just take your profits as quick as you can, get in, get out, and manage your risk. It's capital preservation, not capital increase. That is your goal. So again, really, really good stats here that you can get. This is an interesting one because you can tell from my P&L this looks fantastic, right? My max consecutive losses, though, 13. My max consecutive wins are only 6. But if you noticed, my losses are far, far smaller than my wins. So I'm at 637. Win the next day is 1,472. This is a bigger loss day there, 1,185 compared to 215 the next day, 347 loss, 861, 540. Now that's an even bigger loss at 1299, but then we have an even bigger gain at 1365. You get the idea. These stats are just really handy to have, and I need to at least prep my mind for the possibility that, hey, I might have a 13 loss in a row. That's okay. That doesn't mean I'm not profitable. And try to remind myself of that, right? That does not mean that I'm not profitable. I do have a rule, by the way. I'm only allowed to take 2 losing trades in a day, and then I lock myself out. So, prop firms that I like to use, I do use Apex. I use Top One Futures. Shout out to Clay there, who was my very first coach. Guy does awesome work. Top One Futures is probably my favorite prop firm as far as the people backing it. I know a lot of those people are just excellent, honest human beings and legitimately trying to do the right thing. That's rare in the prop firm space, if you're coming from the Forex market, you know how we kind of got screwed, right? It just seemed like every prop firm out there was trying to rake you over the coals. That is not the goal with Top One, and I'm fully aware of that. So that's one of the reasons I like them. Wish their prices were a little bit better, but if you expect the best, do you get the best price? Probably not. Also use Take Profit Trader. I've used Top Step in the past. I've moved away from that one, but this isn't really about which prop firm you're using. It's more about the tools that you get inside of there. So Project X is what Top One uses. Love that platform just because it's so clear and easy to lock yourself out when you're struggling struggling emotionally, or when you're just up and you know greed is going to creep into your brain later in that day. Lock yourself out for the day. Take your profits. If you can build those green days, it's the biggest thing. And I've done that in the past, and it's just amazing how fast they stack up. But the instant gratification in us, and especially in me, I'm terrible with it, by the way. It just creeps in there, and you start to realize that you are doing terrible, terrible things with your P&L because you're so focused on the greed or some different aspect. Maybe it's the amount of money you're making, and it's not the percentage. Again, all of that comes into play, right? I was going to see if this would pull up the P&L for you so you could see my green days versus red days. I don't know why it's not. Let's clear this filter here if we're back in July maybe. Yeah, I definitely have MNQ trades. Oh, these are 2025. Excuse me. We're going to go to 24 now. We're looking in the right place. So I did start in June. Give you an idea of how many trades I'm actually taking inside of my back testing. Some of these might be during the London and Asian session, which I don't actually trade in my live accounts. So take that for what it is. A lot of times, though, it's good to back test those sessions to know maybe they work better. At times, I have found that. At times, I've found the volatility in the New York session can be too much, and I almost want a calmer Asian session where it moves more with more purpose, I would say. So we had these 16 trades, and I can go into each of them. Again, I'm going to be showing off TradeZella's platform here and just promoting the crap out of it when I get nothing for it. But hopefully you guys appreciate at least the walkthrough on TradeZella and why it might be the right tool for you. I'm not saying you have to do this, but you can see how much data they're collecting for you. And I can't imagine backtesting any other way because it would just be very manual, very tedious. I've backtested a little inside of TradingView, but again, on the 1 minute time frame, how much CME data do you have access to? I've got TradingView Premium, so I think it's only 10,000 bars. And on the 1 minute time frame, it's just not very much. Maybe you can go back a month. I need more back testing than that. 1,000 trades is just never going to happen in a month worth of trades. So you can add notes in here. You can do all sorts of things. Just awesome to have all of this. You can get in here and see what your risk to reward ratio is. Again, I don't put a ton of focus on this, but it's nice to have it there. So there's June. Let's pop over to July. You can see I've got my red days for sure. In fact, only 2 green days on this week, 3 red. But look at how the green days far outweigh the red days. 1 trade here, 5 trades there, 2 trades here. This one I flipped a little bit. 3 green, 2 red. Overall, still a green week. Week 3, I had a red week. um, flipped back, right? So we're 3 red days now, 2 green. 3 green, 2 red, but we're up significantly with this 1.3 that offset the 1.3 on the 24th. I don't love to look at that. I don't love to look at the market as I need to make 1.3K back. I think that's a bad attitude to have, and it's dangerous. It's going to make you force the market to give you what you're after, and you don't know what the market's going to give you. So I don't love that. Then a small red week here on the last week in July. Again, I can go into my win percentages. My consecutive losses actually are less than my consecutive wins on the month of July. Fantastic. That's good for me to know. So it's not normal for me necessarily to have more consecutive losses than wins. Maybe that's something I need to focus on. Over here in August, starting off the week with a red week there, 869. We've got 4 green days here in the second week of August for a total of 2,500. Looks like I missed the 15th. Not sure why I skipped over that day, but overall, funny that this ended up basically being a break-even day. 3 red days, 1 green, and my green far outweighed my red. $1,200 week on the third week of August there, and a small one on that last week. 5 and 5 on my consecutive wins to losses. My average winning trades 375 versus 230, so good as far as risk to reward ratio goes. But again, I don't put much focus on this. It says my realized R multiple is 0.16. Great. Well, I'm still profitable. I don't need it to be 1-to-1. I don't know why there is so much focus on that. Max drawdown, less than $1,000. Love that. Average drawdown's only $500. That's my goal. Again, I want to keep price somewhat out of my mind and focus a little bit more on percentage. Profit factor here is almost 2.0, right? 1.95 there. Okay. September, I think this is where I'm traded up through. And you can see as I've continued to backtest how much more I'm able to stack my green days and green weeks. Now I've only had 1 red day in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's see, we're looking at, 12, 13 green days to 1 red day. It's fantastic. And this is what backtesting can do. It can build that confidence to where I now feel good about going into the live market when I'm coming off of this many green days, green weeks. Just feels great. Build that confidence, but do it in a way that you're still acting like it's live market. You don't know what's coming. You're taking the trade without knowing. And try to recognize your emotions as you're doing that, so that you're constantly improving your own emotions inside of the live market. My average hold time, as you guys can see, is only 8 minutes. I would say I'm typically even faster than that. 8 minutes is probably on the long side for me. Fantastic profit factor here. Now we're up to 3.3. Obviously, that's going to throw my stats quite a bit higher. But look, the average realized R multiple is still only 1-to-1. I just don't like to pay attention to that ratio. I don't think it means much. So just wanted to share that with you, and I'll stop there. See you guys in the next one.